Welcome, everyone. This is the SEO Vault. My name is Mike Milas. This is episode 206. Today we are speaking with very special guest, Ryan Stewart. So stick around. We're going to have some awesome conversation, talk about some SEO updates, SEO tests. Ryan's going to give us some behind the scenes information from his agency, SEO strategy, building and scaling your agency, all that awesome stuff. If you missed any of the previous episodes, be sure to check us out on any of your favorite podcast stations, YouTube, in the Facebook group, and so on. Other than that, I'm just going to open it up here. Ryan, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, I've actually been a huge fan of yours for a long time now. You've come out with tons of training. You obviously ran your agency. You've sold an agency. I've seen you do some new training now. I've been through a little bit of. Can you just tell everyone a little bit about your history, kind of what you've done?
For sure, absolutely. So I've been in the marketing space for about 15 years, mainly agency stuff, done some e-commerce stuff and stuff on the side, but I always end up back in the agency consulting space. Any sort of service-based or client-facing work is really what I find that I build and operate best. So I currently have WEBRIS, which is a digital agency that focuses on working pretty much exclusively with law firms. We do SEO and pay-per-click. I have the Blueprint Training, which is a platform specifically for agencies, a lot of SEO agencies, where we talk about systems, processes, a little bit more of the business side of running an agency as opposed to like, here's how to do keyword research side of the agency. And then I have Ryan Stewart Consulting, which is a fractional CMO offer that I do with some clients as well.
Very nice. Can you tell us a little bit about, I think, what was the most recent training you came out with?
So I wouldn't say that I have like a training or like a release or a launch like that. Our program at the Blueprint Training is evergreen.
Okay.
So a lot you might be thinking about, we have for the past couple of years, it's been mainly focused on service productization. So it's what we call like SEO sprints, where it's essentially a training that helps SEO agencies, to really kind of cut down on the drinking from a fire hose and focus on building systems and processes and turning a complex service into something that's scalable, repeatable, and productized. So we call that sprints because when we broke it down and productized our own service at our agency, we came up with 3 sprints. We had a foundational sprint, which is like a little bit of technical work, how to structure the website, architecture, stuff like that, content sprints, and then link sprints. So the way that we would structure these contracts is instead of doing just like jamming a 12-month retainer on top of people and trying to justify like a year's worth of work, we just operated more, probably how like a SaaS or a design dev agency would operate in terms of sprints. So they have a defined start and end. They usually don't last more than 3 weeks in length. And the goal is to get the work done so the client gets results, so they continuously buy, more content, more sprints. And we'll walk them through that. It's not like a self-service model. It's not like e-commerce. So we'll basically sell like a bundle of sprints that will probably take like 90 to 180 days to deliver. So we're kind of still doing longer term contracts, but we find that the psychology of the client, people are, especially now, people aren't really dying to jump into 12-month contracts. So we found that structuring different had a really good impact on sales because we were competing against other people that were trying to get concerned. Commit to like $100,000 for a year's worth of SEO, and we're like, no, you don't have to do all that. Just come with us.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Kind of pushing or trying to see because you mentioned kind of that sprint process, and I remember when I was going through the blueprint here and there and talking to some people, that was probably the biggest thing that stood out from it was you kind of structured it more around client or providing a service as SEO versus where traditionally SEOs have kind of done just SEO, like they have their SEO strategies and they kind of just take that and kind of plop it into a 12-month campaign. But you kind of more said, no, let's look at it from like the client side and the idea of sprints, kind of these really small where you create a goal, accomplish a goal, get a target, an effect. And that's something that's definitely translates well to client services. Anyone who's not familiar with like sprints or I do read a lot about EOS and that kind of stuff, having just rocks and things like that. but structuring more of your SEO strategy and delivery more towards the client and their business versus just we do SEO. So I definitely recommend anyone check that out. I also wanted to ask you too, Ryan. So you mentioned these sprint processes and you kind of mentioned a little bit kind of like what the different sprints are and things. Can you give us kind of an idea of what makes a sprint a sprint? Like why aren't you just writing content for 3 months or 12 months? Or like what is a sprint really at its core?
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple of reasons. One is it was so like you could frame it like that we put the client first, but it was really started as a better way for us to operate. Because if you've ever tried to operate any sort of SEO service at scale, it's very complicated. There's a lot of people with different skill sets, different parts of the world. It's like a just technical SEO, content SEO, keyword research, link building. It was a lot. So when I was building and scaling my first agency, I realized that I was going to have to scale through people, which is not ideal, because people are a wild card. Let's just call it what it is. Not everyone that you hire is a rock star. And, if you can reduce that risk or exposure to risk by needing less people, right? Because the job is much simpler. It's focused on doing the same thing over and over again and not asking people to do something that maybe they're not comfortable with or they're not good at if they're a link builder, et cetera, whatever. So we started this model really to clean up our operations, get more efficient, get more profitable, need less people. We only have one role at our agency right now. It's just SEO strategist. And I can explain that more in a second, how that shapes down. But back in the day, we used to have like 4 or 5 roles, like a project manager, like a SEO person, a technical SEO specialist for big campaigns, and then like a content person, a link people or team. Like it was a whole thing. And I was like, I'm not making any money off this business. There's just too many mouths to feed, and like the more clients you find, the more people you need. And,
I think I'm starting to get some feedback or something there, Ryan. Just sorry.
Yeah, I'm in a WeWork. I'm sorry. People in Miami are always yelling. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can relocate this fucking guys.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think I saw it as the concept of putting the client first, because as SEOs, we see the value in SEO and all these like little individual things. And then,
Yeah.
but you kind of broke that up more and said, well, where's the value for the client, right? And the value isn't just do everything for 12 months. That's obviously there, but you can't really sell that as easily or manage it, is what I think you were saying, right?
Yeah. So on the opera side, it helped to clean things up for us. But then I also realized that, agency SEOs are pretty simple, man. We don't change a whole lot of stuff, and we're actually very resistant to change. So we just kind of looked out and saw a red ocean, like competing against people that, if you're making the same pitch, it's basically just a race to the bottom in terms of pricing, right? You're just always going to get undercut if you have the exact same pitch and offer as everybody else. And that wasn't like, you don't want to build the business where it's a race to the bottom in pricing. You want to be able to continuously increase your pricing without increasing the amount of input that you need, right? So the way you do that is you get more results for people. And when you get results for people, that builds margin in terms of the value of your service, right? So inside the blueprint, we talk a lot about productization, but another big thing that we talk about is what we call positioning and offer design, which is like the foundational part. Like too many SEOs think that they want to do SEO for everyone. They're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. But doing SEO for an e-commerce site versus a lawyer versus a dentist versus a coffee shop, it's all different. So you can't do what I was just talking about in terms of productizing and creating these sprints if you're constantly servicing different types of businesses, because you're basically doing custom work every time you take on a client. And again, that's no way to scale. It's no way to serve your client, because you're basically throwing spaghetti at a wall every time and seeing what sticks. So when you hyper specialize in a type of client, like I said, we only work with law firms, but specifically we only work with personal injury, family law, and criminal defense, because we know that the value of their case is enough to pay for our retainer, and the value of the cases that they get, we can charge in that margin. So we can charge $10,000-$20,000 a month for our services, because some of these guys are making like $100,000 a month, off of the leads and off the clients that they're signing. So it doesn't require any more effort for us to get that. It's the local SEO campaign. It's the exact same amount of work that it takes to do gym or, you know, any other local business. A little bit more competitive when it comes to links, but aside from that, you know, when you have more money to spend on links too, then it's not really a problem. So specializing in understanding, you know, if the market is a good fit for SEO as a service or what they need to actually get results. It's really about the results. And then after you have that mechanism in terms of the market positioning, the offer, the way that you're going to get them results, then you productize, because then you just basically just write a bunch of SOPs, and now delivering that work becomes very, very simple. So now we're charging top dollar and we're also reducing our headcount. So that's what I was saying. We only have one role inside our agency on the client services team, which is just SEO strategists, because they're doing the SEO. And like, you don't really need to know technical SEO for a lawyer website. It's a very simple website, but they need to be good at content, key research. And now with AI, we're just having them write content. So we don't need a content strategist anymore. So, and we just outsource link building completely. It's just, doesn't make sense to do in-house. So we basically have one role, and our profits are just ridiculous in terms of what we're able to, the amount of work we're able to do and results we get versus how many people that it takes.
So how many clients do you generally have one person work on as far as like a campaign? How many campaigns?
So that's kind of the beauty of it, right? Is that like we don't. So I've also like really kind of tripled down on. We just don't like for law firms, and this is why like we're having such explosive results right now, because we found like the perfect niche, and we're just building the perfect offer for it. Meaning like you don't really need to build content for a law firm website. Like that's not going to drive leads for them. It might pick up traffic and rankings, but they just want their phone to ring. That's all they care about. That's like, oh, they don't care about anything. They don't care what you're doing. They don't need work reports. They're just like, how many phone calls am I getting this month, and how much I pay for it, you know? So we kind of looked at it. We're like, all we need to do is really get their practice area pages to rank and get their GBP to rank. And if we can do that, they're going to basically scrape all the phone calls organically. And then we do some paid search stuff too to really boost that number. But so the point I'm making is that like after they get through like month 2, it's pretty much just link building. You know, that's pretty much all that we're doing for them on the SEO side. So that frees up our people. So we haven't really hit that cap yet. We're hiring another SEO strategist, but I'll tell you, we have probably like 50 active clients, and we only have 3 SEO strategists. It's kind of nuts if you think about it. I mean, links are a big part of that, but maybe it's actually 4. I'm sorry, it's 4. We have 4 SEO strategists. So, you know, it's really just, and if you think about it too, when you're literally doing the exact same thing over and over, like there's no surprise with a legal website. It's on WordPress. They have like 20 pages. They usually have their practice area pages done. So it's really just a matter of like doing on page, doing some internal linking stuff, maybe writing a few blog posts for like supporting content as needed, and then just building links. And then we have a VA contractor that helps us out with the local optimizations. It's easy. It's a checklist, you know? Yeah. So it doesn't really take that much work to get them results. It's just expensive because the links are really expensive. And we buy like hard links for them because it's brutally competitive. So
legal links.
So yeah, so we haven't really hit that number yet. For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like that's why I think a lot of agencies fail, because it's brutally competitive. Like it's brutally competitive to get them results. And a lot of agencies don't, I mean, we audit so much work from other agencies, and like, they're just fucking bad. They're just bad at building links, and they're bad at like understanding how to build content, you know? So they just don't get them results, or they're overselling, underlaying, whatever. But like, we understand that we're investing like $4,000 a month in links for each client, you know, like a significant investment in the links.
And is that part of the, sorry, is that like a specific sprint then? Because that's where I think this is interesting, because you're saying a lot of the things that a lot of people in our industry have said for a long time: niche down, you know, build processes. You could do the same thing then over and over. But you started off by saying, we're not charging, you know, $10,000 a month on just some obscure retainer or something. You brought the sprint concept, which I think is kind of really brings that together.
Yeah. So the way that we scope and price is that, so if you go to WEBRIS.org, you'll see our kind of like SEO sprints website. But if you go to law.webris.org, that's where we drive all our traffic. We're actually getting in the process of redirecting our legal stuff to our root domain. So again, before we were kind of like pushing the sprints model as kind of like a front end offer, but it's not really an offer, it's an operational model, right? But now with law firms, we've redesigned it and said we're going after the end result that they care about, which is phone calls, right? And then we're going to find the best marketing mix within search between paid, organic, whatever that is, to help them meet their goals. So we still use sprints to structure our contract, but we're basically just telling them month one, you're getting a foundational sprint, which is like the SEO, like optimizing their content, blah, blah, whatever. That's month one. And then month one. And then after that, it's just basically just like building content links. So again, we're writing content, but we're rewriting landing pages, we're rewriting blog posts, or we're creating like that kind of like bottom funnel blog post style content. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that'll actually drive leads. So we'll scope that out like 4 per month. And so they're basically paying 4 pieces of content per month and like 8 to 10 links. But they never check. That's the thing about law firms, like they don't care. Like that's just a sales process. Once they get that, they're more comfortable. Actually, it's weird because like if you work with a software company, they love the sprint model because they were like, yeah, we don't want to pay a retainer. Like we just want the out, we want to know what we're getting. So they're great being like, okay, 500 per content, like 500 per link, like, okay, like you tell me what we need and we're more comfortable paying that because like but like lawyers don't care about that. They don't care about links. They don't care about, they're more comfortable actually being like, okay, the total investment is 10. I just show them the sprint so they understand where their money's going, but they don't hold us to that. It's really more of a true retainer because again, like law firms are just like, okay, here's my money, give me my phone calls. Like they're not reviewing like anything in between that, which is great, but you just have to be able to get results because if you don't get results, it's a very uncomfortable relationship. But that's also why we started doing paid search, because paid search allows us to get those phone calls within the first week.
And that's a good point. Do you have an expectation you give, or do you have a way of giving an expectation about calls since you only work with attorneys? Do you have that data somewhat?
Yeah, we do. So during our sales process, we do, it's like a 3-part sales process. First, we do an analysis, or first we do a discovery call, just like everyone does, right? We do a discovery call, make sure we're a good fit, they have money, that they have like attorneys on staff, that whatever, blah, blah, blah. Also that they have enough momentum. If it's like a brand new website, we won't work on they're not going to get results. So once we get through that, then we'll do an analysis for them. And during that analysis, we look at competitors, we look at like search volume in their local market, so we kind of build them a forecast, if you will, to understand like this is what you can expect in terms of like traffic volume times your conversion rate. So like we'll estimate anywhere, like I'll put it this way, pretty much in every local market, like not unless it's like a tiny market, right? Every local market you can expect, if you rank them for Google Business Profile, between like 20 and 50 phone calls a month. 50 is going to be the bigger market like Miami, like I'm in now. 20 would be a smaller market like, I don't know, like Albuquerque, New Mexico or something, right? So we're able to see that and show that to them. And that's enough for them to then understand what they close off of that. And that's what I'm saying. That's also how our retainers are built. Like we have kind of 3 standard retainers at the agency. It's actually on our website, law.webris.org. It's basically $4,000 for like a single location. We'll also do local service ads included in that. Single locations, kind of like a smaller, $4,000. I know that we can charge that easily because if they just get 1 client per month off that, they're making a ton of money, right? No matter what their price point is in terms of what they charge their clients. And then we'll scale up. Like I would say our average retainer is probably like 8 to 10, and that's a bit of a mix of like paid and organic, and a little bit more of a competitive market. And then like if they want to do like multiple locations, like if it's a law firm that has 3 or more locations, then it's usually a pretty good contract for us, because we'll actually charge a little bit more per location, even though it's not really that much more work. It's just optimizing GBP and structuring content and stuff. So that's how that works. And then when I go through so then I do the analysis, I show that to them. It's really important to anybody who sells SEO. Like the biggest thing about SEOs is that they do not show what they can expect in terms of results, right? They'll just be like, yeah, it's $5,000 a month. I'm like, okay, for what? And then they're like, for our service, right? So they show like they're trying to sell the service, but we're selling results. We don't guarantee it, but like they just want to know what they're paying for. It's a huge mistake SEOs make. They're too scared to do it. I don't know where they don't know how to do it, but like you just build a forecast. We actually have a tool, trafficprojection.com, worth checking out, that does that for you. So we use that tool to forecast traffic in those markets, and then we'll just apply by conversion rate. And then we walk them through the conversation of, look at, you're getting this much traffic, then you can expect 50 phone calls. If you get 50 phone calls, how many of those turn into clients? They're like 25%. So it's like, okay, so then you're getting an extra 12 clients per month. What's that worth to you? Each client's worth $10,000. That's $120,000 that we're showing you right now. So then we anchor that against what we're pitching them, which is like $4,000 to $8,000 a month. It's like a no-brainer, We don't guarantee that, but like we just walk them through that process, and it works really well, And most SEOs don't. They're just like, it's $4,000 a month, And the client's like, okay, for what? They're like, for keyword research, for technical SEO. They're like, I don't care
Link
about that.
building.
Like, you make me money. Like, so it's a big thing that we talk about in the blueprint too. It's like in our sales stuff is, like we exist to make people money. And somewhere along the lines, SEOs started caring more about arguing on Twitter about keyword research and like what tool is better than like making people money. Like it's very simple. Like if you make people money, you will make money. And so many SEOs get that wrong, or were taught wrong. But like the role of marketing is to drive business interest, period, which should result in more clients, or sales or whatever it is that they're selling. So, yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, you brought up a lot of good points. And anyone watching, this is especially interesting because you're saying a lot of things that have been said forever throughout the industry that you'll see, big gurus and they'll say niche down, charge 5-10 grand a month, set the proper expectations. But you've actually been talking about how to do all those things because, for example, like you said, you're niche down to law, but it's not just the fact that you're just targeting law, it's the law, it's the expectation, the information you give up front, how you structure it into sprints, your focus on the client, getting calls or what their outcome's going to be versus just we're building links and stuff. So definitely a lot to dissect there. And obviously you go into all the details in the blueprint. So that's super exciting. The one thing I wanted to ask, so you said that so first of all, actually, if someone is currently selling SEO right now and they have like 3-5 clients or 1 or 2 clients, how do you suggest they get started kind of niching down and putting this in place? Like, how did you fall on law? Are you just doing like a specific kind of law, or is it like any type of law? Like, how do you suggest people start to make that shift kind of in
Yeah, it's a good
direction?
question. So, first of all, it's not like a one-time decision that you just make and you're like, we're going all in here. I mean, you could, but understand that it will continuously move, right? So 2 years ago, we were big into B2B SaaS. That was like our thing. But then we started stacking those clients and I was like, God, I don't enjoy working with these clients. Like they're very, very particular about, like they would nitpick over content. I'm like, 18 people are going to see this, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's 2 hours of my time and the team's time to like edit a piece of content that no one's going to see. Like, this is not, but that was like their KPI because they weren't necessarily looking at like qualified leads per month. They were looking at traffic and content and like engagement. And, yeah, you can charge more for that, but at the same time, it's like, the level of talent that I had to have internally was like, it's too much. Like, I don't want to scale that way. So we started shifting. And like of the clients that we have in our portfolio or that we've worked with over the last 5 years, and that's kind of the benefit of doing this for so long, is that we've worked with so many types of clients that we decided to start looking more into legal. And at the time before that, we didn't want to work with legal because I didn't feel like we were, I don't know, I in my head, I guess I had this picture of what working with law firms was like, but that wasn't really the case. That was just me being weird. So we started doing a little bit more. And then once you start doing it, and putting energy in anything, like you started learning. We started learning more about the industry, and I started learning more about what their relationships with agencies look like, and their complaints and their gripes, and what they cared about, which is phone calls. So we just went back to the drawing board and said, okay, if they care about phone calls, what's the fastest, most profitable way that we can drive phone calls for law firms? And we're very good at meta ads too. So we tested stuff with meta ads, and like I thought maybe TikTok, but then I was like, no, it's search. Like in this space, people are still going to Google and searching for a lawyer, and that search is resulting in a phone call, right? And that is also like, when it comes to picking your position, like that is the biggest thing. If you do SEO and you're going to do SEO no matter what, you have to make sure that whatever industry niche, whatever you're targeting, if they search Google, that it results in a conversion, right? Because again, going back to B2B SaaS, that's also what I learned, was that we weren't making them money. So like they were just like, it was just like a nonstop grind with them. Like, but when you make people money and like, they're like, okay, we're paying them 4, we're making 10, we're good. We don't need to talk to them. We don't need to hear from them. Like, that's the kind of relationship that I want, like put us on retainer, let us do our job and like stay out of our fucking way, but pardon my French. But but yeah, so like if you're picking, like if you want to do gyms, for example, like you have to be brutally honest, like people don't use Google to find gyms. They don't like, that's not how they find them. They find them on social media. So don't do it. And like software is another one. Like people don't really use Google to find software anymore. It's just like crowded with like G2 crowd and like these like if you look for like CRM software, it's only the giants. Like you don't stand a chance of getting any visibility there. Like you should be doing something on LinkedIn or like with Facebook ads, you know? So you have to be brutally honest. And that's why like a little bit more old school businesses like home services, like HVAC, roofers, like that is the perfect space because people go to Google and they will call someone and then pay them 40 grand for a roof. Like that's nuts. Like if you think about it, right? So that's the type of stuff that you want to drill into. That's part of like we have this inside the blueprint. We have this whole process that we put people through to help them find their niche or their position, whatever you want to call it. And that's part of it. We have like a series of questions that they go through and they fill out, and then we'll help them audit it and like have this conversation about like, is this really good space for you to be in? So for us though, like I went back and I was like, okay, they care about phone calls and search is the best way to do it. And then we started diving more into it. And we're like, okay, well, like we should probably doing paid search then because paid search is going to get them a phone call the first week and then they're going to be happy. And then, you know, we'll get some breathing room. So we came up with this concept of like a blended search campaign where it's paid and organic. And then like the different pockets, there's LSAs, there's traditional paid search, there's Google local, there's content, there's whole pockets of search now. And then you factor in maybe what happened with AI and SG and all that stuff too. And that's kind of like another opportunity for us. So, you know, figuring out what, and like basically going through this process and learning more and learning more and learning more. Where I was going, the initial point is that like it's an evolving thing for us. Like we're always looking at the best way to serve them, the best offer. What are the types of law firms that we should be talking to? You know, that's why I said we primarily target family law, divorce, personal injury, and criminal defense because they have the highest case value on the back end. So like if we drive them one good phone call a month, then they're going to probably be pretty happy. But we're always looking at a better way to do it. If Google blows up tomorrow, then you know there's Facebook. Like we're good with Facebook, guys. We'll figure that out. It's not really about being romantic to the channel that you are good at. It's about what's best for the client. You know.
Yeah, and you had mentioned like an 8 to 10,000 a month retainer and stuff. Do you include the ad spend in that retainer, or do they pay?
No,
Yeah, okay.
that's just our retainer. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I would recommend anyone do that. Never pay your clients ad spend. That's a bad rabbit hole to go down. But to go to the other point though, so you definitely don't recommend agencies only sell SEO, right? You think they should
No,
definitely
that's not true. That's
Oh,
not true.
okay. Okay.
That's not true at all. Actually, I just think that if you're so sorry, I shouldn't have eaten this mint right now.
It's fine. Take your time.
So the blueprint is like 90% SEO people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said about SEOs, very stubborn, very resistant to change. I mean, shit, every time an algorithm update comes out, it's like Nagasaki, you know, like crazy bomb gets dropped on the industry. When in reality, if you have like a true business mindset, you look at that as an opportunity. Like I saw SGE and I was like, boom, I can't wait for this to come out because like the SEOs are gonna shit the bed and we're gonna come in here and be like, we can help you get in here. So pay us more money to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I mean, so SEO, I knowing how SEOs are, they like shit a brick. If you're like, hey, you should probably do a paid search. Like, whoa. I've been doing SEO for 4 years, man. Like, I don't want to learn anything else. So what I tell them then is that if you're like, usually, so I have this concept called market offer fit, right? Like the market that you serve, whether that's law firms or e-commerce, like your offer needs to be the best way for them to make money quickly, period. Right. So if you can pick one or the other, right? If your offer is SEO and you're like dead set on doing SEO because that's all you know and you don't want to learn anything else, that's fine. Then you have to reverse engineer what industries are going to make money based on that service. And that's where SEOs go wrong. They don't. They work with everyone and they're like, why are they ghosting me? Why aren't they like because you're not making the money. So like they're not
The
excited about
logistics
working with
company
you, you know?
that you're trying to do SEO for.
Yeah. It has to result in a conversion, right?
Yeah.
It has to be intent in people because like people just don't use Google for anything more. Like 10 years ago, definitely, dude, Google's printing money. But now there's like LinkedIn, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's like so many different places that people go to find information, right? And also there's more touch points with those platforms with in terms of content that impact the buyer journey, right? Software is a great example. Like People are on LinkedIn learning about software and then watching videos about it. They're basically coming to your website. They're using Google to find just for branded stuff. Like I go to Google for software and I'm like, like Zoho Desk, and like I go right to their website. So, but it's different again, like for pressure washing company, right? Like
Yeah.
people aren't people are just going to Google and just calling the first thing that they see, you know, like
Yeah. Don't ask for
and that's
recommendations on Facebook or anything like that. Yeah, you just go search.
yeah, just go and that's part of it too, right? There's obviously going to be other ways, but like as long as search is like a good driver of phone calls that turn into clients, right? Then and another good example of that would be why agencies are not good for like we don't do SEO for our agency. It's a waste of time because people might call you or convert, but they're not good leads. Like the type of people that are going to Google to search for an agency, they are price shopping the whole way. They're just like they're Googling like Miami SEO company. They contact 5 of them and they're like, give me your best quote because I don't know
Same as a
shit about
person getting a
anything.
new roof. Yeah, they got 10
Yeah,
options there. They're gonna call
yeah,
them all. See who's got the
yeah.
best price, the best. Yeah, and I love that. That's I used to do SEO on my agency. I see people talk crap about agencies that don't do SEO on their agency, and I used to promote it as a great way to showcase your ability to rank a site. And then as I got more into the industry, I realized, well, if you just don't suck at sales, then you really don't need that.
Yeah, they don't care about these law firms don't care what we're doing. They care about
No, and
themselves.
I
You know
went
what
to a
I'm saying?
law firm once and I was like, we ranked our agents, or was it, I don't know if it was a law firm, but he was like, that's great, but can you do it for me? And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like I care
oh,
about me. I don't
shit.
care about you. People,
Yeah, I'm
it's
like, that's a good
it's a
point.
fundamental thing about marketing. And like SEOs just tend to be bad marketers in general. But like a fundamental part about understanding marketing is that when you understand that people don't care about you and they only care about themselves, then you
Mhm.
can actually create marketing that matters. Because again, when people do their own marketing, they're like, look, we do SEO, look at us. And people are like, I don't give a shit about you, man. Like they care. Like so when you create instead of creating content or like messaging or ads that are like, we do this, it's you struggle with this all about you, right? So like with law firms, the ads that we run, we crush it. We generate 50 leads a month from law firms off of Facebook ads because we're just like, you struggle to get leads. There's a lot of crap agencies out there. We'll review your website for free and we'll show you the roadmap. Period. No questions asked. Done. And like we just pluck leads off of Facebook like that because we're not like, hey, we do SEO. You're a law firm. Do you want our SEO? No, they want to hear about themselves and they want to talk about them and their business, not about us. And yeah, I mean, it's SEOs are I mean, look, I'll be honest. Like, I love working with SEOs because I feel like that's at the blueprint. Like I said, we don't do like you can go to like Google and find keyword research training from SEMrush. It's amazing. Like I don't
Mhm.
want to teach you how to do keyword research. I want to teach you how to impact your business, right? And that's why we've been in business for 7 years because we're talking about this stuff with our clients at the blueprint. Like we're helping them understand the foundational elements of their agency and why it's cracked and why like they might have gotten to $25,000 one month, but it came tumbling down because they don't have a business. They don't have a sustainable model. Like they sell a service. And when you sell a service, you essentially have a job. You're working for other people. Like it's not, and that's why they burn out. That's why people in the space are like, oh, I want to do affiliate SEO because like it's the agency sucks. Like, no, like you sucked at running an agency, but like it's actually an amazing business model because like dude, you can like really build like a really amazing business that has staying power for years and years and years and helping like other businesses. Like it's not, you don't have to ride every single like Google algorithm update. It's not about that. Like what we do is agnostic, right? It's about like when you understand that we're here to service clients, that's it. And like we're gonna do whatever it takes to put them in the best position to succeed. It's a completely different business model. That's what an agency should be. But again, like they get stuck looking at the wrong way. And that's why at the Blueprint we exist because we help them do that. And just these fundamental realizations for businesses, like especially agencies doing like less than $15,000 a month, it's a game changer. It's a complete game changer. Like even if you don't want to build like a $10 million agency, that's fine. Like, but
Mhm.
you can make $1 million and like you can rip half of that per year to yourself and for your family, and like
And not work
that's
18 hours a day, I think, which is
exactly,
the biggest part.
exactly.
Yeah. And I had that when I stopped my agency, later on down the line, I realized the flaw with my thinking too, like you said, because the honest answer was it wasn't that I hated running an agency, it was that I just wasn't doing the proper things, so I didn't have to do the things I hated about running my agency at the time. And if I can go back in time, I probably would have did things differently. Now it's like I don't really want to building an agency still is it's a special thing, right? It's not just like it's like opening a plumbing company. They all have their
Yeah,
own
for
ins
sure.
and outs, but
100%.
Yeah, the
Um,
truth is though, if you have a successful, profitable agency, there's no reason why anyone would ever say I hate doing SEO services or client SEO. The only reason you hate it is because clients are upset from expectations
yeah,
being set, goals
hundred
not being
percent,
reached. Yeah, all those things
100%.
exactly.
And they're probably still doing the work too. That's the other thing is that like, like the first person, people are always asking me the blueprint, like who should I hire? Should I hire a salesperson, a project manager? I'm like, hire somebody to do the SEO. Like you can't, you should, the first person that you need to hire is somebody to do the work, period. It cannot be you. And because you're an expert in it, you can train them in it. So like trying to hire a salesperson, you're going to train that person out because you've never trained a salesperson before. And like
Hmm.
in the beginning stage of your agency, like you do need to be doing the selling. I feel very strongly that you also need to replace yourself from selling, but like only until you build the proper client services team, right? Like bring people
Hmm.
in that love doing SEO, that love nerding out on it. It's amazing. Like the the people that I've brought in to the business are amazing, dude. Like
Oh yeah.
they do all the things that they like. A lot of people do love doing SEO, like, and that's amazing. And I want those people in my business because they're pushing our service forward. Like I'm up here taking credit for everything, but like I didn't come up with a lot of this stuff like they did, you know? And that's because they love doing it. Like they love showing up and listening to podcasts. They love going to events across the country and, and that's amazing. And like those are the people that you want to try and hire and bring into your business. So you don't have to deal with it anymore because it's impossible to do the work and sales and like be the shit shield for the business because that's part of what you have to do as the owner is like when a client's pissed, you're gonna have to take it. But it's a lot easier to take it when you don't have like 12 more hours of work to do for other clients, like so
Well, then you're testing, you're rebuilding campaigns. Like that's the one thing, even at Web 20, I constantly have the leaders of our departments, whether it's link building or whatever, they're coming to me and saying, like, hey, we should update this front end process where we do this analysis because we can get a better result, or we should do this because we could offer a better price or do more links or but yeah, like you
yeah.
don't have time to be in that doing research and development, sales, managing client expectations, and that's where most agency owners end up, and that's definitely everyone will probably hate an agency if that's running an agency if
I
that's
was there too, 100%. I mean,
yeah.
I was there too. The only reason I know this, and I, because I've been through it, and like I'm up here talking shit about it, but like it's a fact. And like I had to look myself hard in the mirror and be like, I was like, I wanted to get out of the business. I was burnt out, like all the above, just like everyone else was. And I was like, no, like stop it, Ryan. You're just not good at it. And like you need to get better at it. Like that's all it is. Like I would look around. I was frustrated looking around, being like, how is this dude over here who doesn't know anything about SEO, like running a multi 7-figure business? And it's like because he has a business. Like he's running the business side of it. He's not doing the SEO. And I hear that a lot from people that are like, oh, this competitor is not very good at SEO. It's like, it doesn't matter if he's good at SEO or she's good at SEO. It matters if the team that he built is good at doing SEO. And, that person's probably really good at sales and marketing and you're not. And that's why he's growing. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just like everything.
I do know some people though who actually have started to make that shift like you're talking about, and then they go, oh, I actually don't like running a business. I don't want to
That's
I
fair.
don't want to go get a 80 grand a year job doing SEO or 100
That's
grand a
fair.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's so you might
Come
find
over to
that
us.
out
We
too,
got
to
plenty of
be
work.
honest. Like,
Well, that's the thing too, is that, first of all, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with working in an $80,000 a year
no,
SEO job. Like,
hell no.
there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, and if you, especially if you, which you probably did, got into this business because you got in this business and just learned it online. Think about it. You didn't need a degree to get in here. You didn't need to spend time in college. You didn't put yourself in a crippling debt. Like, you taught yourself something. That's amazing. Good for you. Like, and now you're in a position to make a really good salary and like spend time with your family. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I highly encourage that. I tell people a lot all the time. Like, yes, it's not, running a business isn't for everyone. Like, it's just not. And like, you can still make really good money, 100 grand, 200 grand as an SEO in house somewhere. And like, ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, that's pretty
Yeah, and
damn
you can
good,
still be
like,
still remote work too. Like it's not like you have to sacrifice
yeah,
freedom to
it's
work for some
amazing.
corporate giant. Yeah.
No,
I got into the industry originally because it's like I didn't want to be working for someone. I wanted the freedom and then years later you find out, well, if you actually develop a skill that people need, you don't have to be an entrepreneur or
100%.
business owner to have the freedom and
Yeah.
money,
I keep trying to tell my wife's younger brother, he's a young man, 25, 26, and it's so tough for young people these days. I feel tough I feel bad because I feel like I'm 37, and I was kind of on the tail end of the like go to college, get a good job type
Yep,
generation. But
me too.
that dream is just no more anymore, you know, like, and this poor kid, like he went to college and, you know, tried to figure out something that he likes and like, he doesn't know. Like, and I'm like, dude, like you need to learn a skill, like get into sales, like learn marketing, do something. But like you have to want to do it. Like you have to do it. Like nobody can tell you to do it. Like I point him in the right direction. I tell my wife all the time, like I can't make him do it. Like he's got to want to do it. And like if you don't want to do it, if you don't pick your like put one foot in front of the other and just keep doing it, then you're never going to learn it. But 100%, like I tell everyone, the best thing you can do is learn a skill, especially marketing or sales. Go learn it. Like it's free, it's online. Like just do it, and you'll make a
Almost
six-figure
everything's
salary
free
within 3 years.
nowadays, though, to be
Yeah,
honest. You get
100%,
most
a hundred
college
percent.
courses and things, you know what I
A
mean?
hundred percent. And now at post COVID too, like you never have to leave home. Like you don't have to go in an office anymore. Like it's pretty cush out
Mhm.
here, man.
You
It's
you
pretty cush.
you need that goal. Like for me, even in the beginning when I first got into, I didn't go into SEO. I came into, make money online, internet
Yeah.
marketing. And
We all
yeah,
did, I think. A lot of us did, yeah.
I remember my wife once was like, why are you buying the, some like, spend $1 and then $99 a month and learned it some course, which I was getting hated on because it was some scam courses. And I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make money with this course, but I think it's gonna lead me to wherever I'm going that's gonna make
A
me
thousand
money.
percent.
And that's the like if you just pick, you just need like an idea of where you want to go. You don't have to necessarily be doing the right things always to get
Yeah,
it, but
1,000%. 1,000%. And like it's good to hear you say that because I think so many people, well, first of all, the blueprint, like we have to fight against that, right? Because there is so much bad information and course information out there.
Mhm.
But like I don't like it's one of those things where like, yeah, there's a lot of predatory people out there selling crap, but like it's kind of part of the process, man. To like really learn something, like you got to sift through the crap, and like you just don't know what it is until you buy the crap, and you're like, okay, this is crap. I'm not going to buy this crap anymore. But like you still keep pushing because you realize again that like the information's out there, you know. And it's kind of like what I was talking about with picking a niche. It's like anything in life that you put the energy into, like you're not going to figure it out tomorrow, but like it's a process. Like it's a consistent process. Even the journey that I'm on, I started 15 years ago sitting at a desk job and I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And I just started looking online. I was like, how to make money. And I clicked on a banner ad and like my life was changed forever, you know, and it was some bullshit, but like it pushed me down a path of being like of just starting, just moving, you know, when you do that, I'm still evolving and I will continue to evolve on this process. And I never would have thought that like that would have led to where I am now. And I'm super excited about where I'm going too, because I think that this is just the beginning. Like there's no end to this. We can keep doing this as long as we want, as long as we keep pushing and learning and growing, you
Yeah.
know, like there's plenty of opportunity out there.
And yeah, AI and then all the fun stuff coming down the pipeline. There's only just more opportunity coming. So it's awesome. Awesome stuff. Well, anyways, we're running out of time here. So thanks so much, Ryan, for coming
Of course.
on, talking SEO again. Can you let everyone know where to find you, all that good stuff, in case they want to check out Blueprint and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So the blueprint training, probably one of the best places to go. You can also find me on social media at not Ryan Stewart.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody. It's episode 206, the SEO Vault. We will see you next week. Thanks again, Ryan. And
All right, Mike.
see you later. Bye.